stayed longer than I should have. Not because I was weak, but because I loved for real. That's what this album sounds like. Love Illimitable. Out now.
Morning, Mr. Scott.
Morning, Lena. What's the latest?
Another change on the platform. Their new ranking formula cut our reach by 18% overnight.
Another algorithm shift. We can't let them control the conversation.
That's why we steer people to the app. When they're with us, the numbers stay ours.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid going to church, and I remember around election time, whether it was for the local elections or whether like mayor, city council, or if it was a congressperson or whatever, they would come to our church and they would speak at the church and tell people about, why they should vote for them and all of that. And then after the election, you would never see them ever again. And then they said they was going to do all this stuff for the black community, and the community don't progress to anything better. If anything, it's progressing even worse. And then we will see this time after time after time after time. I noticed this as a kid. These people come around, they want to hug your children, kiss your babies, all of that, and then you don't see them anymore. Now, these are black politicians I'm speaking about. I'm not talking about white ones or nothing like that. Now, you fast forward to 2026, and nothing has really changed at all from when I was a kid to now, me being a middle-aged man. Black people have been allowing black politicians forever to come do this and not require anything out of them. Now black people are saying, hey, wait a minute, buddy. You coming around here talking your talk? We need to see some sort of tangible. You have to think about it. That's a shocking thing for them to be hearing, because for years they haven't had to do anything but just show up at church, show up at events, do a fish fry like Clyburn, and you come out and vote for them, and they can go do whatever they want to do. And you're not paying attention to nothing going on that's in the country because supposedly you got black representation, right? See, gone are the days where black people are like, ooh, they black like me. I'm so happy. No. We don't care about you being black. We don't care about any of that. What are you doing for black folk is what we care about now, is what we focusing on, okay? Because if you don't address the black preacher and the black politician, both of them, if you don't address that issue, it's going to continue being this way. And black America cannot afford for this to continue. Because if you'll let them continue to do the same things they've been doing for decades, you won't be able to truly survive at all in America. These people care about their money. That's all they care about. Their access, their homes, their vacations, their shopping, all different things that they do. If you look at all of them, you could tell. Like their hair is in place, their clothes in place. You could tell they're getting money. You could tell somebody getting money. You also can tell somebody struggling too. You understand what I'm saying? My thing that I want to keep emphasizing, I'm going to keep preaching this sermon, they think they're better than you and me. They do it like, you're not better. Even Barack Obama wasn't even treated better, and he half white, and he wasn't even treated better. So it's just amazing how they think they're better. You're not better. You're still on the plantation too, buddy. These people use you because they think that you can deliver the black vote. And I'm telling the white liberal think tanks and everything else, stop wasting your money on them people. They cannot deliver the black vote. Nobody believes in them. People look at them as has-beens. That's what they are. They're has-beens. Nobody respects them. They sassy. You know what I'm saying? They all trying to get somebody told. We talking about the men. I'm not even referring to women. I'm talking about the men. You notice though, in that crowd, notice the men who a lot of these Democrat shills are very sassy. Have you noticed that? They very sassy. How is it that the women don't even act as sassy as some of the men over there? Because in the grassroots, we don't put up with that. A man gonna be a man in the grassroots. Put some bass in your voice. Talk like a man. Let women speak the way women speak. And stay out of their issues and business. You know what I'm saying? They can address certain things. But come on, man. We are not going to vote blue no matter who. Them days are done. We're not scared of Republicans, Trump, or anything else. We're not scared of anything. We're like Bone Crusher. We ain't never scared. And that's been our motto ever since in America. We ain't never scared. So pushing this fear politics on black people, that's not working. We really don't have nothing to lose either. What do we have to lose? We're losing jobs all the time. We've been losing things as black people. So what more they can take that they haven't been taking already from us as black people? But we got to make sure that even if you do go to church, right? Because some people do. If them politicians come in your church, you should be offended by that. You don't go to church to be hearing from the Democrat Party. If you want to go hear what the Democrat Party has to say, you can go to a Democrat Party meeting or rally. You can go do that easily with no problem. You understand? But it's a but to that. Don't let these people sell you a line or whatever. If they talk about another black person saying they stupid, they dumb, whatever, they think the same way about you. Always remember that. Why the other black person so stupid and dumb, but you're not? When you're in the same position as that other black person that they got so much issue about. And like I was saying before, if they got a problem with reparations, if they angry about reparations, if they trying to come up with 1,000 excuses why you can't get it, and let you know you already getting paid, buddy, and us getting reparations would totally decimate your DNC bag. We know that. That's why you saying it. You see, reparations is the thing that's going to identify everybody. It's going to identify the racists. It's going to identify the sellouts. Reparations. Right there. And do not be afraid to put any of these politicians on the spot about your reparations. They bring up, well, we have to do a study. You know what you hit them with? Well, when y'all did the CARES Act during the pandemic, y'all didn't do a study. And y'all signed trillions of dollars into the economy. How come you can sign trillions of dollars into the economy with no study? Can you answer me that? Why don't you make reparations the same amount as the CARES Act? And then let's start getting them checks going, and then we can go back and study, after the checks start flowing, we'll see maybe we need a little more or so. But let's go ahead and get that same money for the CARES Act. Let's get it out here in reparations. We don't need no study for that. Y'all proving that you don't need a study to put out trillions of dollars. Trillions. These people they like to play games with black people. They like to play games. Now, on the local level, I still say on the local level, if they're going to pay locally, they should do some research into it. And I've said that because maybe it's some land that's certain people sitting on that belongs to black people that should be paid for. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that to quantify locally, they should look into it. But on the federal level, you know what I'm saying? If they can do the CARES Act, they can do that. They ain't got to do no comprehensive study because they're not passing out land. They're passing out checks. They can afford it. If they can afford war, they can definitely afford reparations. Don't ever let them tell you what they can't afford. If you couldn't afford anything, well, cut that military budget. Cut it because, you can't afford nothing, right? If they cut some money out of their military budget, they can handle all the homelessness in America, but they don't want to cut that. Because for them, making sure that I can kill at the drop of a dime is what is more focused on for them. But with us as black Americans, we got to hold the line. That black preacher and that black politician has to know we're not playing with no election no more. You bring something to the table, you bring a reparation, you bring anti-black hate crime bill, anything else that we need. Oh, don't worry about it. We're not voting for you. The Asians got a hate crime bill. They didn't have to have a study. That's what you got to keep in mind with this election season. Do not back off on demanding tangibles for your vote. No tangibles, no vote. Like some people say, no check, no vote. Either or. These Democrat shills, we have to collectively work, and we gonna do the work to put them out of business. And putting them out of business is not stopping them from talking. Putting them out of business is to make them so irrelevant that them checks get cut off, the speaking engagements get cut off. All that stuff get cut off because they have no relevancy. in Black America. That's how you defeat them. Relevance. Well, they'll be on their podcast complaining all day about how black people don't listen to them no more. And we can do that. We can Voltron up and do that, brothers and sisters. We can do it. Because they're not relevant. Because they don't have the pulse of Black America. But just want to make sure that we understand that. That don't let these Democrats play in your face with these midterms. Don't do it. Not at all.